This is another way that Garrick and Kody Brown from Sister Wives and Garrick from Seeking Sister Wife remind me of each other. Garrick is more likely to cry. Cody's more likely to get angry. But one of the things that really bothered me about Kody, especially in the last season, was he started doing, well, this was several last seasons. He started speaking slower and enunciating. And usually when he did that, it was on something that he couldn't argue, but he just wanted to force into the person's head. Like, you are not listening to me, or something like that. I can't think of the exact examples, but it is interesting to kind of look through these characters who are, you know, using God and religion. And this is from a comment on my video where I had said, do you think Garrick buys into all this? Does he believe his own hype, or does he know that this whole God thing is fake and he's just using it for manipulation? He's manipulating in either case, but my question was, has he convinced himself this is true or not? And some people are like, no, I don't think God's talking to him. I want to make perfectly clear, I do not think God's talking to him either. That is nowhere. I don't know that anyone, even Danielle doesn't seem to believe him. It seems that the best he can convince is that other people believe that he believes it. What's also funny, and this is like some deep religious, like a deep cut if you're religious. So what's funny is a few episodes ago, Garrick did this whole thing where he was talking about, he made some reference to King David, which is funny because if you're going to use any reference and compare yourself to any biblical figure, King David is, towards the end of his life, is best known for the fact that he took Bathsheba and then murdered her husband to keep her for himself. And eventually one of his prophets went to him and was like, gave this example of like, what do you think of a man who has 500 sheep and steals a sheep from his neighbor who only had one sheep and took it for his own? And David's like, oh my gosh, that would be terrible. But he was so blinded to his own sin that he didn't realize it was an analogy about what he had done. And so like that kind of cracked me up, because if we want to talk about people who sort of bought into their own hype, Garrick using David as an example. I know it's a deep cut. I know probably no one else is religious or even cares about that, but I had to mention it because I noticed it. But yes, there's so many similars between Garrick and Kody and this, like, I will use my voice to force you, because it's clear that, at least to me, I don't think Danielle buys it. And Natalia doesn't buy it either when he starts doing this whole religious thing. Danielle seems to, like, I don't know, like pretend that she does, but we can see her looking at the camera being like, you know, like we can tell that she's not buying into it. And I don't know whether she's just exhausting herself, whether she's performing for the camera, whether this is what she is at home and he doesn't notice. I don't really know. But there is something like deeply cognitively wrong with this dude in a way that makes me wonder if there's a clinical diagnosis for it, or whether you can just be so dang selfish about what you want that there's not a diagnosis. You're just like a bad person. I don't know.